Welcome to Curiosity, the podcast where science meets wonder. Join us as we explore the fascinating, the innovative, and the unexpected, from the secrets of the cosmos to the marvels of everyday life. Each episode takes you on a journey to uncover the knowledge and stories that fuel our endless quest for understanding. Let your curiosity guide you.
Level Up: The Epic History of Video Games. The history of video games is a captivating tale of technological innovation, cultural shifts, and a growing industry that has transformed entertainment and even society itself. It begins with the earliest concepts of interactive entertainment and gradually evolves into the complex, immersive experiences that define modern gaming. This evolution spans decades, marked by breakthroughs in technology, the rise of gaming culture, and the emergence of iconic titles and influential companies. In the first part of this expansive story, we'll explore the foundational steps that laid the groundwork for the video game industry as we know it today. The origins of video games can be traced back to the 1940s and 1950s, a time when the field of computer science was still in its infancy. One of the first examples of interactive entertainment was created by computer scientists experimenting with early computer systems. In 1952, British mathematician A.S. Douglas developed OXO, also known as Noughts and Crosses, a digital version of the game tic-tac-toe. While primitive by today's standards, OXO represents one of the first instances where a computer was used to simulate a game for human players. By the late 1950s and early 1960s, academic institutions and research labs began experimenting with various forms of computer-based entertainment. One of the most influential early games was Space War. 1962, created by Steve Russell and others at MIT. Space War was a two-player space combat game, set against a starry backdrop, where players controlled spaceships engaged in battle. The game was one of the first to gain popularity outside of its creator's immediate circle, spreading to other universities and inspiring future generations of game developers. It was also one of the first games to be shared on a large scale, marking the beginning of the idea of games as a form of social interaction and community. However, it wasn't until the early 1970s that video games began to emerge in the public sphere and become a commercial venture. This shift was marked by the introduction of arcade machines, the most iconic of which was Pong, created by Atari co-founder Nolan Bushnell in 1972. Pong was a simple yet addictive game that simulated table tennis, and its release in bars and arcades made it the first widely successful commercial video game. Atari, founded in 1972 by Bushnell and Ted Dabney, would go on to become a dominant force in the early video game market, with Pong and other early arcade hits driving the growth of the arcade gaming scene. At this point, the idea of video games as a form of entertainment began to take shape. Arcade machines became a central feature of social spaces, with players gathering in arcades to engage in competitive gameplay. The success of arcade games such as Pong and others like Space Invaders, 1978, and Asteroids, 1979, ushered in a new era of gaming that would span the next few decades. The late 1970s and early 1980s also saw the rise of home consoles, a crucial step in the expansion of the video game industry. In 1977, the Atari 2600 was released, allowing players to enjoy games in the comfort of their homes. The Atari 2600 became the first widely successful home gaming console, and it popularized games like Pac-Man and Space Invaders, which were ported to the system from their arcade counterparts. The success of the Atari 2600 spurred a wave of interest in home gaming consoles, with other companies like Mattel and Magnavox releasing their own systems. However, this early success was followed by a period of turbulence in the early 1980s, as the video game market became oversaturated. The video game crash of 1983 marked a significant downturn in the industry, as the market for home consoles became flooded with low-quality games. The glut of subpar titles, coupled with competition from personal computers, led to a sharp decline in video game sales and the closure of several major companies. Despite this setback, the video game industry was far from finished. In part 2 of this expansive history, we will explore how the video game industry rebounded, leading to the creation of iconic franchises and the rise of gaming companies that would dominate the market in the years to come. The video game industry's recovery after the crash of 1983 marked a pivotal moment in its history, with the resurgence of home consoles and the emergence of iconic franchises that would define gaming for generations. The late 1980s and early 1990s saw the rise of major companies and technological advancements that would not only help revitalize the industry but also shape the future of gaming. In the wake of the video game crash, many believed that the home console market was dead. However, the Japanese company Nintendo played a crucial role in revitalizing the gaming industry. In 1985, Nintendo released the Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, in North America, a console that would not only help re-establish the video game market but also redefine it. The NES was a major success, partly due to its high-quality games, innovative design, and a strong focus on ensuring that third-party developers adhered to strict quality standards. The NES's game library included groundbreaking titles such as Super Mario Bros., The Legend of Zelda, and Metroid, which helped establish Nintendo as a dominant force in the gaming world. Nintendo's success with the NES was quickly followed by the introduction of the Game Boy in 1989, a portable handheld console that further expanded the scope of gaming. The Game Boy allowed players to take their games on the go, and it was a massive commercial success. One of the most iconic games for the Game Boy was Tetris, which became a global phenomenon and helped solidify the handheld market as an important part of the gaming industry. Around the same time, Sega, another major Japanese company, was making waves with its own gaming consoles. In 1988, Sega released the Sega Genesis, also known as the Mega Drive in some regions, which became a direct competitor to the NES. The Genesis brought with it a variety of influential games, including Sonic the Hedgehog, which became the face of Sega and one of the most iconic characters in gaming history. The battle between Sega and Nintendo in the late 1980s and early 1990s, often referred to as the console wars, was marked by fierce competition and marketing battles, with each company vying for dominance in the home console market. The 16-bit era, driven by consoles like the Genesis and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES, marked the peak of arcade-style games and the beginning of more complex, story-driven experiences. Games such as Street Fighter II, Final Fantasy VI, and Chrono Trigger elevated the gaming experience, offering deeper narratives, richer gameplay, and more sophisticated graphics than ever before. These advancements paved the way for the next generation of gaming. The mid-1990s brought with it the advent of 3D gaming, a technological leap that would transform the industry. Sony's PlayStation, released in 1994, was one of the first consoles to offer full 3D graphics, and it quickly became a major player in the market. Games like Gran Turismo and Metal Gear Solid demonstrated the power of 3D graphics, offering players immersive experiences that were previously unimaginable. The success of the PlayStation signaled the end of the 16-bit era and ushered in a new age of gaming. In addition to Sony's PlayStation, the Nintendo 64, released in 1996, brought 3D gaming to the forefront. It was home to legendary titles such as Super Mario 64 and The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, both of which are still regarded as some of the best games of all time. The Nintendo 64 helped set the standard for 3D platformers and adventure games, offering expansive worlds and open-ended gameplay that would influence many future titles. As 3D graphics became more advanced, so too did the level of interactivity and immersion in video games. The introduction of CD-ROMs as the primary medium for video games allowed for larger, more detailed games with higher quality audio and video. Titles like Final Fantasy VII, Resident Evil, and Tomb Raider demonstrated the potential of the PlayStation and other consoles, with their cinematic storytelling, immersive worlds, and cutting-edge graphics. The 1990s also saw the rise of the PC gaming market, with personal computers becoming increasingly powerful and capable of running graphically demanding games. The success of titles like Doom, Warcraft, and StarCraft helped establish PC gaming as a major force in the industry. These games introduced new genres, such as first-person shooters and real-time strategy games, and became the foundation for the booming multiplayer gaming scene that would emerge in the following decades. By the end of the 1990s, video games had become a dominant force in entertainment, with the industry surpassing Hollywood in terms of revenue. Gaming was no longer seen as a niche hobby but as a global cultural phenomenon, with a diverse and dedicated player base. As we move into the early 2000s, the stage was set for the next wave of innovation that would push gaming to new heights in terms of technology, storytelling, and social interaction. The 2000s and beyond ushered in a new era for video games, one marked by the rapid evolution of technology, the growth of online gaming, and the explosion of mobile gaming. These decades saw the gaming industry transcend traditional boundaries, influencing global culture, entertainment, and even social interactions. The rise of broadband internet, advanced gaming hardware, and mobile devices transformed how games were created, played, and experienced. At the start of the 21st century, consoles continued to evolve, with the launch of the PlayStation 2 in 2000, the Xbox in 2001, and the Nintendo GameCube in 2001. The PlayStation 2 became the best-selling console of all time, thanks to its strong library of games, such as Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, Final Fantasy X, and Gran Turismo 3. The console's ability to play DVDs also made it a versatile entertainment device, further expanding its appeal. The Xbox, Microsoft's first foray into the gaming console market, introduced gamers to Halo: Combat Evolved, a title that became synonymous with console gaming and a key franchise in the rise of competitive online gaming. The release of the Xbox Live service in 2002 was a significant turning point for gaming. It allowed players to connect to the internet and engage in multiplayer games with others around the world. Games like Halo 2 and The Elder Scrolls III: Morrowind showcased the potential of online multiplayer, setting the stage for future games that would rely on robust online communities and digital distribution. The ability to play with others over the internet also led to the rise of competitive gaming, or esports, which would grow into a multi-billion-dollar industry in the years to come. As consoles embraced online play, the industry also saw the rise of new gaming platforms, particularly in the form of handheld devices. The Nintendo DS, released in 2004, and the PlayStation Portable, PSP, released in 2005, brought portable gaming to new heights. The Nintendo DS, with its innovative dual-screen design and touch-screen functionality, introduced popular games such as Mario Kart DS and The Legend of Zelda: Phantom Hourglass. The PSP, on the other hand, focused on delivering high-quality graphics and multimedia capabilities, with games like Grand Theft Auto, Liberty City Stories, and God of War: Chains of Olympus. The rise of online gaming continued to redefine the industry in the mid-2000s, with the launch of the PlayStation 3 in 2006, the Xbox 360 in 2005, and the Nintendo Wii in 2006. The Xbox 360 brought high-definition gaming to the forefront, as well as a redesigned Xbox Live service that enhanced online multiplayer experiences. Titles such as Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and Gears of War helped define the competitive online multiplayer experience, while the Mass Effect series and BioShock introduced gamers to immersive, story-driven experiences that emphasized player choice and narrative depth. The Nintendo Wii, with its motion-sensing controls, appealed to a broader audience, including casual gamers and families. With titles like Wii Sports and Super Mario Galaxy, the Wii revolutionized how people interacted with games, bringing physical movement and motion controls into play. Its success made gaming more accessible to people of all ages, from children to grandparents, and demonstrated the growing mainstream appeal of video games. The next console generation, which began in the early 2010s with the release of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, saw an even greater emphasis on online gaming, digital distribution, and social features. The PlayStation 4 and Xbox One both offered powerful hardware capable of running graphically stunning games, as well as the ability to download and stream games digitally. Services like Xbox Live Gold and PlayStation Plus introduced subscription models for multiplayer access and digital game libraries, further solidifying the importance of online communities in gaming. The gaming landscape also shifted dramatically with the rise of mobile gaming, a trend that exploded in the late 2000s and 2010s. With the introduction of smartphones, gaming became more portable and accessible than ever before. Games like Angry Birds, Clash of Clans, and Candy Crush Saga attracted millions of players, offering easy-to-learn, addictive gameplay that could be played on the go. The App Store revolutionized game distribution, allowing independent developers to release games directly to a global audience without the need for traditional publishers. The success of mobile gaming has been driven by its accessibility, affordability, and the sheer number of players who now use smartphones for gaming. Mobile platforms also introduced new business models, including in-app purchases and free-to-play mechanics, which have reshaped how games generate revenue. While these business models have been met with some criticism, they have nevertheless allowed mobile gaming to become a dominant force in the entertainment industry. In addition to these advancements, virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR, began to gain traction as potential game changers for the gaming industry. The release of devices like the Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and PlayStation VR opened up new possibilities for immersive gaming experiences. VR gaming, in particular, has allowed players to physically engage with virtual worlds, creating a sense of presence and immersion that traditional gaming experiences had not been able to offer. Meanwhile, AR games like Pokémon Go have combined the real world with the virtual, allowing players to interact with their environment in entirely new ways. The Nintendo Switch, released in 2017, introduced a unique hybrid design that allowed players to seamlessly transition between handheld and home console gaming. Its portability and versatility, combined with an exceptional game library that included titles like The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Super Mario Odyssey, made it a massive success. The Switch also brought Nintendo's classic franchises into the modern era, while attracting both casual and hardcore gamers alike. The next console generation, marked by the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X/S, released in 2020, continued to push technological boundaries. The PlayStation 5 introduced lightning-fast load times, stunning graphics, and immersive features like the haptic feedback of the DualSense controller, which added a new layer of immersion. Meanwhile, the Xbox Series X, with its impressive hardware, offered seamless performance and backward compatibility, ensuring players could enjoy games from previous generations as well. These consoles marked a shift toward faster, more visually impressive gaming experiences. As we look to the future, the video game industry continues to grow and evolve. Advances in technology, such as cloud gaming, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, promise to further transform the gaming experience. Platforms like Google Stadia and Xbox Cloud Gaming are pushing the boundaries of how games are streamed and played, reducing the reliance on powerful hardware and enabling gamers to access high-quality games on a variety of devices. In conclusion, the history of video games is a story of constant innovation and transformation. From humble beginnings in the 1950s to the global, multi-billion-dollar industry it is today, video games have evolved in ways that were once unimaginable. The journey of video games continues to inspire creativity, community, and entertainment, making them an integral part of modern culture and a powerful medium for storytelling, art, and connection. As technology continues to advance, the future of gaming holds even more exciting possibilities, promising to further reshape the way we experience and interact with digital worlds.